question is, if you had to choose a superpower, what superpower would you choose?
I have one right off the bat, and it's super nerdy, But it might have been nerdy a few years ago, but with, we've had superhero movies out the yin yang. So
right.
There's probably not a person alive who hasn't thought of this with all the movies and stuff. Mine is super speed.
Super speed.
And it always has. It's been for a long time. It's been my favorite. Yeah, The Flash is one of my favorite dudes. Funny enough, I haven't seen that movie. I don't know if you know, a Flash movie came out like a year ago.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't even go see it.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out on all those things.
Yeah.
But no, super speed's always and I think it's because I wasn't the fast kid in school, right? When you were in elementary school, middle school. And fast was the currency when you were a kid. Was that the way it was when you were a kid too?
Well, it never hurt. That's for sure.
No, I'm talking about fast was the social currency.
Oh. No, because everybody where I grew up was fast.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not, and there were certain kids that were exceptionally fast.
This is what, I think I saw a meme of this the other day.
Yeah.
The fastest kid in second grade had all the girls on him too. He had all the honeys.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why that was, but it seemed like.
Was it one of those two kids that you ended up getting in a fight with? Was that?
I don't know
do
who
you
you're
remember
talking
elementary
about.
School?
I don't know who you're talking about.
You don't remember?
No.
So in elementary school, I got a call. You came home one day.
No.
You don't want to go into that right now?
No.
Okay.
No.
So fast was
We'll do
the
that
currency.
another time.
So fast was the currency.
Those kids were fast, but I don't think they were the fastest in the school. But what I'm saying is, the fastest kid in the school for some reason was always the most popular kid too. At least when I was a second grader back in
and it was a contest,
2002 or something. You
know?
It
was a contest you could readily have every day.
That's all you were doing.
Outside.
You were sliding down the slide, you were swinging on the swings, and you were running races out in the back.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's always running races during recess and stuff.
And I guess a little basketball too, but it didn't carry the same weight as just running faster than everybody else.
Yeah, you know what? Funny you talk about fights. I think they had to outlaw basketball at recess because kids were getting whooped up on. They were getting real whooped up on.
Basketball was kind of a test of your manhood in Dallas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you went to school in a little town outside of Dallas called Cedar Hill.
Cedar
That's probably
Hill.
what you remember more than anything.
Yeah.
And it was pretty multicultural.
Yeah.
So it was a test of,
by the time,
of toughness and will, and not just basketball, but there was a lot that went on with basketball.
Totally.
Yeah.
But no, I remember. I actually remember specifically. They, at a certain point, maybe third or fourth grade, they said, "We're not playing basketball. We're not providing any." There was hoops, on the property of the school.
Right.
But they're like, "We're not providing the ball at recess anymore."
It became the basket war.
Yeah. Kids already knew how to throw elbow. They already knew how to play Kevin Garnett ball. You know what I mean? Throwing elbows.
Of course,
and stuff.
of course. Now that I think about it, we had at my elementary school, Rosemont, we had probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 3 full court basketball, like outdoor courts in a row, just on the blacktop.
Yeah.
And we never played basketball at lunch. And
why not?
It might have been for that reason.
They might have outlawed it, huh?
Yeah. Now,
the elementary school I went to was called Plummer Elementary.
Right.
Shout out anybody, if anybody's listening, they went to Plummer.
Cedar Hill, Texas.
Yep. And they had like a little inlet, in like the building itself did this kind of like U-shaped thing.
Right.
And there was these, if I remember correctly, there was a couple of courts right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at a certain point I remember, I don't remember if they came out and specifically outlawed it or if they just quietly outlawed it and they just stopped giving us basketballs.
Just no more basketball during recess.
But you know what? They also built like a brand new playground around that time.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember it.
But they had these big giant swing sets and they built like a pretty new playground. They went from that, went from wood.
Just a blacktop with a couple of hoops to a real playground.
Yeah. You would go down this little hill. And when I first got there in like kindergarten, it was sand with the wooden playgrounds, right? And they upgraded it to the wood chips with the plastic playground. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I do remember them upgrading it.
And that's probably dating you too, because now they have the spongy under the playgrounds. Now a lot of them have
I know it's like a Willy Wonka, like
something. That might just be here in Boise though.
I don't know.
I mean, they might still be doing wood chips in Dallas.
They could. I wonder how hot that rubber stuff gets in the summer.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Because you could fry an egg on the
It probably doesn't. Yeah, it probably doesn't get hot enough around here for them to worry about it. But in Texas, they may not be able to do that rubber stuff.
Well, and I guess the heat of the summer, you're not in school, so maybe it's not so bad. But still, the summer's
Yeah.
like 10 months long.
It's the back end of the heat of the summer in Texas. Yeah,
That's true.
You know what? I actually think right when I was either still there or leaving, they tore down all the swing sets too.
Yeah.
Because there was too many kids that wanted the thrill of jumping off.
You swing and see how
And
far
you had,
could launch
I
yourself.
remember there was this one girl named Caitlin that broke her collarbone. I don't know why I remember that. She's a little dark-haired girl.
Yeah.
And she had some kind of sinus something going on because she was always breathing real deep through her.
Caitlin with the sinuses?
Caitlin with the sinuses jumped off the top of the swing set and broke her collarbone
So
or
she
something.
launched herself on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Because
And
that was the
broke
best
the
part of it, you know?
Yeah,
you could launch, and if you had any wherewithal or any kind of like,
Yeah.
any kind of catness in you,
Yeah.
like you could land and be okay.
Right.
But not every kid had that, but they still wanted
Well,
they still wanted to launch.
Sure. Or they
Yeah.
got dared to, which is you couldn't say no to a dare.
If
right?
you got dared, yeah, you
had
had to
to.
jump. Yeah.
Did you ever get dared to do something you didn't want to do?
I can't remember. I might have to mull that
You
one
know
over.
what? Now that you talk about a broken collarbone, one of the worst injuries I ever saw in elementary school is we used to play what we called wall ball. Right? You had a tennis ball.
Yeah.
You'd throw it against the wall and it came back and it would bounce. And if you didn't catch it clean and it hit you and bounced off, you'd have to run and touch the wall before somebody else would get the ball and hit the wall with the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And so you get one strike. When you got 3 strikes, a lot of kids called it spread eagle because you have to spread eagle.
I remember playing this with you
Oh, yeah.
like growing up, yeah. Because you introduced the 3 strike spread eagle kind of deal.
Yeah.
I think in typical wall ball, it's just a score thing.
Is it?
If you get tagged.
Well, the 3 strike spread eagle is what they did in my elementary school.
And you introduced that to me as a kid.
Okay. But anyway, it got real competitive. And we were out there playing wall ball, and we had somebody brought one of the balls that they use for the indoor racquetball, and it's real bouncy.
Oof, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we played around, and and when you threw it, you just hit them with it. Like kids would be slinging it at each other when they would be spread eagle, right? And you couldn't look.
Yeah, you have to turn around, put your hands up against the wall.
Put your head down.
Yeah.
So you didn't know it was coming, and you just get hit, right? So we played one round, and it was stinging kids, man. And it went real fast because that ball was so bouncy,
And
right?
you got strikes real quick because
Real
you
quick,
were,
yeah, instead of a tennis ball. So then the second game, it was competitive, and people were like, I ain't getting 3
I'm not trying to
strikes.
get,
So Alan Thompson had a strike. I remember this. He had 1 strike, and he mishandled it.
Let me ask you a question about Alan Thompson.
Yeah.
Is he the kind of kid that will cry if he gets stung?
No, Alan Thompson was tough, boy.
Okay, because there were those kids that
Yeah.
and you kind of targeted them because you're like,
You did, but they didn't usually play.
sure,
This was reserved for the toughs.
yeah, for the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the kids that wanted to be tough and wouldn't, like they'd pretend to go get the ball and then they'd let it go by and it would get somebody else.
Yeah.
So there were the pretenders.
Yeah.
But I wanted to catch the ball and throw it,
There's such a hierarchy, dude.
really is.
It's really Lord of the Flies out there in elementary school recess, isn't
But you
it?
would stand in front of somebody and you would let it go by and it would hit them and then you'd grab it and sling it,
Yeah.
And so I was always trying to get, so anyway, Alan had 1 strike.
So when you got 3 strikes, did everybody get a chance to throw it at you?
Everybody. There could
And
be
how
20
many
kids.
20 kids.
20 kids. As
And how
as
many of the 20? How many times do you think you get beaned?
3 or 4.
Okay.
Kids weren't very accurate.
Sure.
But I was, so I always hit them.
Yeah.
Usually I tried to get them right in the middle
By
of
the
the back or
way,
in the butt.
you've been touting this superhuman accuracy for like 30, 40 years now.
Yeah.
I know you have.
And I am. You've seen me.
You're accurate. But anytime it comes at I'm real accurate.
I'm real accurate.
You always, yeah. Oh, you give me something to throw, I'll hit it. I'm accurate. You are so quick on the draw on how accurate
And
you
I
are.
wonder if I believe I'm so accurate is one of the reasons I am.
Yeah.
You see me throw snowballs. If I'm trying to hit something,
I know that you are accurate, but I think about on the outside, people are like, why is he so adamant that he's accurate? Like we're not going to believe. Yeah. Oh, I'm accurate. You better believe it. I'm accurate.
That might be my superhuman strength.
Superhuman
Yeah,
accuracy.
but if I had a strong arm, it would be something
Sure.
special.
Yeah.
But I really don't. I have an average arm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
By the way, I bet you there are millions of dads in the world
Yeah.
that really love to talk about how accurate they are with varying degrees of real accuracy.
That's true. But it's something that can
Yeah.
be tested. It's almost
You see
like
that?
a foot race.
You see that mailbox? Give me a football. I bet you I can hit it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. But for me, it's usually something the size of a baseball or something.
Yeah.
And I'm accurate with a football, but I'm extremely accurate with something that'll fit in my hand.
Sure.
One hand.
Yeah.
And so So Alan gets,
like a racquetball.
Like a racquetball. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going all angles too. I'm throwing over,
Yeah. You're throwing sinkers.
I'm sinking it. Yeah. I'm trying to zoom it by the guy's ear as it hits the wall.
Yeah.
I'm trying to actually, it's sometimes more fun when you throw it at the wall to hit the guy running towards the wall. Like if he misplays it.
Oh,
then you let him run a little, and you just tease
and you get a bean before you get to bean him before he gets 3 strikes.
There it is.
That's devious.
Yeah, it's the way the
It's the way of the jungle.
Yeah, and when you're accurate, you make your own rules.
When you're as accurate as I am,
you make your own rules. Yeah, so Alan had a strike and he mishandled the ball, and Alan had this habit of tapping it away. You weren't allowed to kick it real far. But if he mishandled it, he would mishandle it.
Which has always been, sorry, as an aside, the basketball game bump.
Yeah.
Right? Where you got people in the line and it's a free throw contest.
Yeah.
And
you have to make it.
There's a version called bump where you can smack someone's ball away.
Yeah.
And there's a version without it. And I hate the version with bump because I'm like, dude, you're not even trying to hit your shots. You're just throwing it away.
That's like playing basketball, playing 21 or 25, where a guy, if you miss and he tips your ball back
tip-ins.
in, you drop down to 0
I
or 7.
I don't play
or
that make it take it. I hate make it take it.
Do you really?
I think I probably should toughen up a little bit and accept make it take it, but I think make it take it's the lamest thing in the world.
Well, when you're a good shooter, it's the only way to go.
I suppose.
Yeah. Because if a guy's bigger than you and you start with the ball, you can skunk him 7-0 quick, and then you're out.
I know, but I feel like
you feel like everybody should get a good chance.
Yeah, and you can't claim beating someone in a basketball game unless you've played defense and offense on them.
Makes sense.
Because you have to make your shots and you have to play defense.
I understand. Yeah. So Alan, Alan mishandles it, right? Yeah. And I get it, and he's running towards the wall. Well, it's a big gym wall on the outside, no windows, no nothing.
Yeah. But is it like uneven brick? So it might.
It was brick.
Yeah.
But it was even enough. It was flat enough where you could.
It would bounce the direction you threw it.
Yeah, you could really reasonably gather whatever was coming. So anyway, he's running, but nobody even realized or thought about the fact that right in the middle of the wall, there was a water pipe that came out and went into the ground. Like just out of the wall into the ground.
Yeah.
Just small, about that big around, but it was right there. And Alan is running, and I'm about to throw, and I look, and he's running full speed to the wall, and I'm like, he ain't slowing down.
Oh no!
And he hit his knee on that pole.
Did he trip?
No.
Did it come out at knee height?
Yeah.
Wow.
Clipped his knee, broke his leg, snapped it, went crumpled. We're like, you still got to stay. You still got 2 strikes. We didn't know anything was wrong until he's over there. And Alan was tough.
Oh my gosh.
Alan Thompson was a white kid. He was tough. And he was on the ground, crumpled, but he wasn't making any noise or anything. We're like, come on, man. That's 2 strikes. That's 2 strikes. And finally somebody's like, I think he's hurt.
I think Alan's hurt.
Yeah. And then, miss. We used to call teachers miss.
Miss.
And then the teacher came over, and the ambulance came driving up on the blacktop and got him and took him off. Yeah.
I bet that was a spectacle for you guys,
It was a spectacle. Now, his bone didn't come through the skin or anything, so it wasn't brutal. It wasn't bloody.
That's gnarly, man.
It was bad, boy.
That's bad. Jeez.
Yeah.
And it wasn't no PVC either. It was
No. These are cast iron, those like the ones that come out of your heater system outside.
The ones that really expensive clothing stores use to hang their clothes up on. Do you know what I'm talking about? They have the
Yeah. It's like
if you go to a Banana Republic, they've got a bunch of jackets hanging on that type of piping.
Or if you live in a place where they still have water pipes heating buildings, it's those kind of water pipes.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it messed him up. But speed wasn't. I don't think it was the same currency for me because where I grew up, everybody seemed like they were fast. I didn't even race anybody for years because they were just too fast.
Yeah.
But
sorry, rolling back all the way back to super speed.
Yeah.
I also feel like
what would you do with it?
I would go get all the scholarships for everything.
Oh, but wouldn't you find yourself kind of like the really fast kid on the Incredibles?
Oh, the Incredibles.
They might kick you out if they knew you had super speed.
No,
you're talking about you would slow up and just beat everybody.
Yeah, because that was always my biggest disbelief on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I was like, you ain't got to fight crime, man.
Yeah.
You could just go get every football scholarship you ever wanted, hurtling over dudes, and you got spider sense so no one can ever tackle you.
Yeah.
You could just be the gnarliest wideout of all time.
You could throw a pass, and if it looked like it was being intercepted, you could just zip it right back.
Yeah. I would just go get,
I hear
that's also granted as if I have super speed as a teenager. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I figured you could, I don't need the flash level of super speed where I'm fast enough to go back in time and stuff like that. I just want like, give me superhuman. I don't need
right.
I don't need world altering.
So you're not talking about, you don't even. Well, that's kind of interesting, because I think when people think of a superhuman skill, they think of what they could do with it, right? Like either for good or for evil.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so,
no, I would just.
You're talking about you would just dominate every sport.
I would just,
if you're that fast, you'd be jumping out of the gym, dunking on dudes. And everything.
Yeah.
Pick
the sport, you know?
You'd be doing it all.
Yeah. I would just enhance the quality of life that I have right now.
You wouldn't save the world.
Yeah,
you would just save your world.
Yeah, forget that, man. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because if I had a choice, and see, I question whether this is like a superpower, right?
Okay.
But I would want time travel. Is that a superpower?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, and it would not be for necessarily for good, right? I mean, I would want time travel for, well, just to relive certain moments, just to bring people back, just to make changes.
Oh, you don't want to go kill baby Hitler or nothing, do you?
No. Nothing like, I don't want to save the world. I just want to enhance my own world.
Yeah, sure.
And I wouldn't tell anybody either. This would be my thing, right?
Yeah.
I would just be...
Well, that comes with the territory of a superpower. You can't tell nobody, right?
But then I wouldn't have to wear anything different. I wouldn't have to do anything different,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
I could go back in time and, make some minor adjustments to what maybe something I did, or go back.
Aren't you worried about the butterfly effect, though? Alter one little detail, and then everything is changed completely from there?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe so. But who cares?
Did you ever see that movie, Butterfly Effect?
I never saw the movie.
It's
makes you change your mind about
no, it doesn't, because in that movie the things are so outrageously different, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, that probably would be the case, though.
It probably would.
They would be outrageously different, because one minor change here would lead to
it's a slick movie. It's entertaining. I dug it.
Well, for me, it would probably
But it wasn't, I wasn't sitting there like, oh no. It didn't make me feel like that.
See, I would probably be more interested in really enhancing. And if you had time travel from the very beginning, it wouldn't make any sense. But if I were to be gifted a superpower now, that would be the one I would have. Now, if I'm a kid, I would imagine it might be different.
Yeah, like flying or super strength or something like that.
Super strength, or yeah. Because then I would probably be interested in doing other things. But at my age, I'd like to have that specifically, because I think that would be.
So on top of like reliving the cool things in your life, would you? So here's the question though: is it like time and space? You know what I mean?
I don't understand.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you can time travel sitting in this chair, can you only experience the things that have happened in this room, or can you jump to different
places? Time and space.
You would have to. You kind of would, right?
And I don't know.
Because when I think of what you're saying,
relive stuff, right? You're right.
If you want to relive stuff, also you could go see. If you got time travel for the sake of seeing cool stuff, why not go see? A
gladiator battle.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because we went and watched the movie recently. We were also just talking about it right before this.
Right.
You would go see at the height of Rome, go see a gladiator battle, right? See what. So here's another question: what are some of the cool things of history you think you'd want to go see?
So there's obviously for me, because I'm religious.
Yeah.
I'd want to go back and see. Christ, right?
Yeah.
But let's take him out of the picture.
Yeah. Would you go see like the Babe hit his home runs or something like that?
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. Good called shot. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I just got goosebumps.
How cool?
Isn't that funny that I didn't get goosebumps when I thought about going back and seeing Christ, but I got goosebumps.
I'm going to see the Great Bambino.
Yeah. But there are some experiences that aren't even on video that you would want to see. That you're
would you go fact check Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game?
I would fact check that for sure. That one popped into my mind pretty quickly.
Yep.
Because I thought I'd like to go see it, but then I realized, what if it wasn't really true?
What if it wasn't?
And you couldn't tell anybody.
And you would be there with a pen and paper, taking stats for yourself.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be something.
For anybody who doesn't know, let's give a little bit of context, right?
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain recorded the only 100-point game.
He scored 100 points
in
one game.
100 points in one game.
He personally scored 100 points, yeah.
And the only physical evidence we have of is him holding up a sign that says 100 after the game. There's no video evidence.
There is no video evidence, but there are eyewitnesses that said it happened. And I actually, this is going to sound crazy.
Yeah. I think I know what
But I went to a basketball camp one year, and a white guy showed up, a big old white dude, and he was old. He was probably at the time I was a kid, so he's probably in his 50s. But he was maybe 6'3", giant man.
Yeah.
And he was good.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, who is that dude? And they said he played point guard on Wilt's team. And when I found that out, I'm like, did he score 100 points? And he said, yeah. He said what they don't tell you is he had like 19 assists and like 27 rebounds. And
this guy, if I remember the story right, assisted on like 35.
Yeah, he got like 35
assists in that game to Wilt.
And he was just throwing it into him. Yeah. Unstoppable, yeah. So that guy makes me believe it really happened.
Yeah.
But some of the other stuff, you
Plus, if you're a basketball fan, believing it happened is just fun, isn't it?
It is. But the gladiator stuff, you wonder sometimes, when they do, all the movies are going to glamorize events.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And make them bigger and better than they should be.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder would you be disappointed if you went back and watched a gladiator battle?
Yeah.
And you just see, these guys.
It doesn't look as cool as when Maximus did it.
Fight. That was just bigger than everybody's just throwing dudes around.
Yeah.
Because
they're not the 300 Spartan, ripped up dudes that they used to be.
Right.
They can't be
he
that
might have just
cool.
been a 6'8" dude back when everybody was 5'8".
And the Emperor doesn't look like Joaquin Phoenix. He just looks like this big Jabba the Hutt dude, just slumped like this. Yeah.
He's the only one eating.
Yeah.
And he's probably, his mom and dad probably were brother and sister.
So he's got,
3 eyeballs.
One of his ears is higher than the other. You know what I mean? He's got 9 toes on one foot.
Yeah, it might be disappointing.
Yeah.
So there's that, but I think probably for me, when I think
But wouldn't that be part of the fun of it, though, is to go see if it actually stacks up to the way we...
It would be.
Yeah.
But it might be disappointing. You might go and say, I'm glad I live in a time where they can recreate this stuff in a grander scale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And... you never know. Do you really want to know the truth about everything? Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Because I would imagine.
Yeah,
the Gladiators are glamorized.
There was
I bet it was pretty brutal.
When Black Panther came out, that movie.
Yeah.
My wife's sister, she was dating a dude from Ghana, I think.
Okay.
And he was like, they don't sound like that. Right? Sorry, forgive my...
I think I remember the guy.
Yeah, he was a good dude. He was a good dude.
I
That didn't work out, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he was like, they don't sound like... That's over-exaggerated. And I was like, shut up. It's
Just
cool, man. Don't ruin it for everybody.
Right. Yeah. So, and there might be some of that, too.
Yeah.
Right? However, just to be clear here, I don't really think there is that movie's not real.
No, I know Wakanda's not a real place. Yeah. I know. What? What? Could you imagine if that's what? Yeah. Well, Metropolis is real, right? Where Superman's from?
Yeah. Metropolis
City is
City is real.
Yeah, that's like when you tell your kids, Santa Claus ain't real. And you're like, but the tooth fairy is, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, dang it.
Yeah. The tooth fairy sets
it all
a
comes
precedent.
crumbling down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tooth fairy sets a precedent. By the way, Shelley did that one time, and I was ticked off, man.
What?
She gave one of you guys like $5 or something, and I was like, "What are you doing, man?"
Oh yeah, we got a nickel back in the day.
Yeah, what are you doing? Come on, don't be giving $5.
It was a nickel with a piece of rope on it. And it would get yanked as soon as you put it in your hand.
Yeah, when you reached to get it off the ground, it slid away.
Yeah.
And there was a magnet over there. I'm like, "What are you doing giving them $5? They're gonna." I said, "These are boys, like wild animal boys. They'll be in the room trying to pull teeth."
Yeah,
to get the $5.
If I got $1 for a teeny one, that front tooth has got to be worth more.
There you go.
You start politicking for it. You start the economics of teeth.
Yeah. Start floating the idea to the tooth fairy. Yeah. Hey, tooth fairy, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think one time I lost a tooth that might have had a cavity in it, and I got half. You know what I mean?
The tooth fairy prorated.
I was like, what the? Right?
The tooth fairy prorated your...
Yeah. And Mom was like, that one had brown in it. I didn't... Yeah. That tooth had brown spots on it. You ain't getting full clip for that.
Dude, I should. You know what? Your mom used to keep your baby teeth too. And some of them were not the prettiest things in the world.
No.
And she had a little Ziploc bag with each of your names on them.
Yeah.
And guess what? They gone.
Yeah.
I've cleaned out some stuff.
Yeah.
And you're gonna thank me for some of the stuff I
Well,
cleaned
especially
out,
because if the police ever needed to come into a single dude's house and he had a bag full of teeth,
baby teeth,
they don't even have to have any charges. They'll find something on the spot.
They'll just erase Alec and Zach off of it.
Yeah.
And say, look what we found.
Tiffany 15. Whoever they're looking for.
And then
that's
they'll hold it up.
Yeah.
In
Look!
court.
We found poor Tiffany of St. Paul's teeth.
Yes.
It's this guy.
Mr. Jensel, was this in your top drawer?
Yeah. Yeah, but
yes,
they're
my kids.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. They'll
How
find
can we
something.
Be so sure?
They'll find something to charge you with if they find a bag of teeth.
Of teeth.
How did we get here, man? That's
I don't
the best.
know, but that's how they.
So here's a question
go.
I have for you.
Okay.
Are there any quality of life superpowers that you would have? Right? And I mean nothing that you could ever fight crime on.
Right.
But something that would just make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah. So there is.
Okay.
Right off the top.
Okay.
I don't sleep good, and I never have. And I can't really remember ever waking up. Like, you see these videos where
you're a light sleeper. Anything will get you up.
Yeah. If a kid 3 rooms away farts and his door is closed and my door's closed, I wake up.
You'll hear it. Yeah.
And it used to be funny because the kids would come in my room late at night to say something to me, and I would hear them coming, and I would just wait until you got real close, and I'd go, yeah, and the kids would stand the crap out of them. But I don't ever remember waking up and going, and feeling refreshed. I just wake up and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't sleep good.
Yeah.
So I would love to get, like, if that would
superhuman sleep.
Like if I lay down,
Yeah.
and I could count on 7 hours, like,
Yep.
and wake up feeling refreshed. I don't even care.
Feeling like you got 7 hours.
Yeah. And part of it for me now is I have aches and pains from being older.
Sure.
But even when I was a kid, I didn't sleep well. And so I never remember waking up feeling like people say, oh, I've slept really good. I woke up feeling great. I'm like, I don't even know what that feels like. And maybe that's a me thing.
What would your superhero name be? The snoozer?
Yeah, it would have to be something along those lines.
Lazy boy and the recliner.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I would just go zzz.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's zzz.
Yeah. It's a bird. It's a plane.
No, it's
so dumb. So dumb.
What about you? Is there a quality of life thing you would like?
Yeah, there is.
Uh-oh. What is it? And what is the name?
Excuse me.
No, hold on. Maybe you make the name up first before you describe it.
No, because there's no name that can describe
okay.
this. I'm going to get a little crass and a little...
I know what it is.
I am
now.
about to get a little...
Okay.
Anybody who's a little worried about potty humor...
Here it comes.
Here it comes, right?
Yeah.
I lived in Argentina for a couple years, and I think I picked up something that I still haven't gotten out of my system. And so when I get diarrhea, I get it long and hard.
Yeah.
Right? I get it for a while, and
it's unrelenting.
It is unrelenting, and I'll poop. I'll go. How many times a day do you think you poop?
Once.
Yeah. I heard someone the other day that doesn't poop every day.
What?
Like once or twice.
I'm not sure that's healthy. I don't know.
I would have to do some
research.
Yeah. I would need to. Yeah. Yeah, the medicine, what is it? The Journal of Medicine. I would have to check up on it, right?
Yeah.
So my quality of life superpower would be done.
Yeah.
Back to solid.
Back to solid.
Back to solid. Yeah.
Well, I did hear an old man
because I also know that I would imagine diarrhea is your body's way of telling you something's weird in here that we got to get out.
Sure.
And we have to flush it all.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that I never have diarrhea because it's probably a healthy thing for me to have diarrhea when I have it because something needs to get out of me.
Right.
But at a certain point,
yeah.
Right? Let's shut that off. Let's get my booty feeling not so sore anymore. Let's get back to basics.
I've got a name for that one.
Yeah, I think the solid might be the one.
The solid. The first one that crossed my mind was the regular.
Regular, yeah.
But now that I think about it, maybe we call you tapeworm.
Tapeworm. Yeah, that might. I mean, maybe.
Isn't that what they say you might get down in Argentina?
Sometimes. By the way, they give you a pill to take when you get home.
Right.
Called La Bomba.
So it's supposed to flush out all the
It's supposed to
impurities.
flush you out, right?
And La Bomba never stopped.
I have it's not like I'm never regular.
Right.
But I spend...
All too often you're not regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it starts up, it doesn't stop for a while.
Gotcha.
And that's a bummer.
Well, and if we're going to go into that kind of stuff, that like simple complaints,
Yeah.
I've had some knee problems, and shoulder problems over the years.
Yeah.
Just from playing too many
The
sports.
joint.
Yeah.
Would be your name.
The joint.
The joint.
Because, man, I wake up.
And you would just do one of these, and it would be better.
There you go. Just place my hands on it. Yeah. Something like, put a little holy oil or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. The joint.
Yeah, but because it does wake me up regularly. And you know what? Usually it's wrapped around a dream. Because I've gotten to where now I'll be playing basketball.
Do you have any? Sorry, finish what you're saying.
And I'll twist my knee in a basketball game, and then I'll wake up and my knee's hurting. It's because it's crooked underneath me or something. So my knees will get sore at night, and I'll wake up, or my shoulders, I'll lay on one and it'll wake me up. So not only do I not sleep well, but now I got all these extra things. And then when I wake up, I'm like, dang it, my shoulder's hurting, and I'll try to get it in a comfortable spot where I can't feel it, and then I'll go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But I am grateful for that though. When I wake up, 99% of the time, I go right back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And that happens to me too. When I lay down to go to bed at night, I usually fall right to sleep. So I'm grateful for that, So
Yeah.
I shouldn't complain too much. But
do you have any vindictive superpowers you would want? Like if someone's bothering you out in public, you can just go like that and something. Let me give you an example.
I don't think I have that, but I would. Here's what I would say.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of people that complain under the guise of venting.
Sure.
And it bugs the.
Yeah.
It really, and I don't say anything.
Yeah.
And it only crosses my mind, but I don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
But by the way, just so if you look up the definition of venting and the definition of complaining, the only difference is complaining is negative.
And venting is
The same definition.
Yeah,
but
I
negative.
think people.
So if you're venting negatively, you're complaining.
You're complaining. Yeah.
Right. And so
yeah.
So I actually
I
posted
think
that
people
one time.
think just by saying I'm venting, they think that there's
They
an
get a pass.
automatic and there's an automatic catharsis to it.
Yeah.
But there definitely isn't.
Right. And that bugs me, right?
Yeah.
And when people say things,
Yeah.
and
So
I
here's-
actually posted,
let me recommend-
posted one time, and I said, "What's the difference between venting and complaining?"
Yeah.
And somebody said, "When I do it, it's venting." And I thought that was hilarious.
So let me recommend a superpower to you.
All right.
You get someone venting and you realize that they're not venting, they're complaining. You snap your finger and all of a sudden they have a stutter. They start stuttering.
See, that would be So what would you call that? You'd call that
because then that would make you giggle because you're like,
yeah.
You could go, I don't. Of course, you would have to use that.
Yeah.
Don't pass too harsh a judgment.
Well,
right?
and I don't really. People don't complain to me personally.
Sure.
It's more when you read it online and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And so I want to reach through and slap them and say, you're not doing yourself any good.
Yeah.
You're just making it worse on yourself by focusing on
Here's
the
mine,
difficulties. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Before
you say this, hopefully I don't do it.
No.
You'd tell me if I did, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
This is, I know you don't do this.
Yeah.
I cannot stand LED headlights.
Oh, that blinds you when you're driving.
Especially because I drive a lower to the ground car. That's
do.
just my preference.
Right.
And there are a lot of dudes who drive these big jacked up trucks. And all of them have these, you can see into the future with these things.
Yeah, they're bright. Yeah.
And
it's blinding.
It's blinding. And it's I think it's dangerous, right?
Right.
If I ruled the world, I would outlaw that crap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or point them down to where they're 10 feet
You know
ahead
what?
of you.
No. Outlaw.
Well, if they point them down.
Nope, outlaw.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing with LED. I'm not sure they can't aim them like they used to do.
I don't know. That's outlaw. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason being, we live in a city anyway.
Right.
Right? The only time you should ever really turn on your brights is when you're out on a highway and there's no lights, right?
Right.
And I think that there are some people who drive around with their brights on. Which is even more frustrating.
And but now you're right. You got to the point now where you see you'll see a truck and it's blinding you, and you flash them, and they flash you back, and it's even brighter, and you're like, holy crap.
Well,
I know what you're saying.
It doesn't bother me as much when it's coming towards me. It's behind me.
Oh.
Because I can't even look in my mirrors, and I shouldn't single out just truck drivers.
Right.
These LEDs are in all of them right nowadays.
Yeah.
And if I'm sitting like this, I have to sit like this when I'm at a stoplight.
Right.
Because I'm getting it from my rear view and from my side view.
Yeah.
Right. So
they used to have a thing on by the way, they used to have a thing on your mirror you could flick up, and so it'd flick it up, it'd like a little punk, and you could flick it down so that when you got
I don't know if I
blinded-
have one of those.
I don't think anybody does anymore. Is my
Yeah.
point. But when in the old days,
But
of cars, they
that
did.
is my ultimate pet peeve nowadays.
Gotcha.
Is when a dude pulls up right behind me, especially like in a drive-through. If you've got it, public service announcement, if you have one of those and you're in a drive-through, turn them off until you're done.
There you go.
Right? So my superpower was I would go like this and they would have engine failure.
Which, all that being said,
Yeah.
now that we've covered that,
Yeah.
it does tell you pretty clearly that we don't have a lot to complain about.
Yeah. We're pretty blessed. Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe we just don't complain about it a
Yeah.
lot. But
Did you catch what I said, by the way? Engine
Yeah.
failure
Yes.
for 30 seconds.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If the light turns green, I go like that. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, everything shuts off for
There you
30
go.
seconds. I can
Right.
leave them in the dust.
Or
Right.
or you snap and the lights go out and they're like, why did my lights go out? And then as soon as they need to drive again, the lights go back on. Or
Well,
something.
sometimes they still tailgate me.
That's true.
Right? I need to give them something that makes them,
Engine failure. There you go.
and not like completely disable
Totally.
the engine. Like I said, for 30 seconds. And I promise not to use it unwisely when people are in route. I'll only use it at stoplights.
Unless it's really bothering you.
You know what I do when it's really
See,
bothering me?
here's where I have a problem.
Sure.
When somebody says, I promise not to use it
Yeah.
unless it's necessary. Well,
Yeah.
things become necessary
yeah.
to us pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what I do when I am getting tailgated is I slow way the crap down.
So they'll go around
and
you.
they go around.
Yeah, that's right.
Because dudes in big old trucks who have LED lights, they
usually
also
wanna
like
go-
to speed.
They like to go fast.
And I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
And if you drive a giant truck like that and you don't like to speed, come find me because I think
Yeah.
you're a liar.
We're buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're either lying or a good
I think
friends.
you're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. We've got
Super speed.
we've just offended truck
Time
drivers.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about
The snoozer zzz,
playground
and the solid.
and playground disasters.
Yeah.
And how you can't kids in elementary school in
Yeah.
the hood can't play
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah. Sinus infection, Caitlin.
Sinus infection, Caitlin.
who
We've
broke
covered
her,
a lot
Who
this
broke
time.
her? Yeah, we hit the gambit, man.
Isn't it funny how you can start a conversation in one area and it just goes off the rails?
Pretty silly.
All
Pretty
right.
silly.
There we go.
Cool. See you guys.
Talk to you next time.